Hi, this is Miss Foltz, and we're going to be talking about the first unit for Biology 1, which is all about characteristics of life. So, the big thing is what are different characteristics of living things? Like, how do we separate something that's living, like a tree, from something that's non living, like a rock or soil? And so, there's a few characteristics that should be found in living things that non living things won't have. So, here's just a really quick list, and this is on our Unit 1 notes. This is loaded onto our LMS page. You're welcome to click through this and kind of look through these different characteristics, and this will help you with your lab that's happening this week in terms of it's alive, just as kind of a preface or kind of a front loading of that information. So right here, quickly, are the different characteristics of living things. So everything that is living is going to have every single one of these bullets. So if I'm able to use energy, but I don't do anything else, like a car requires energy, but a car is not living. So if something is living, it needs to have all these different things. So it needs to be made of cells. It's got to be able to grow and develop. It's got to be able to change. You're not the same as you were a year ago. You're not the same as you are 10 years from now. You're going to grow. You're going to develop. Okay. It has to be have the ability to reproduce. This is an interesting one because when you look at viruses and things like that, they can't reproduce on their own. They have to go inside of a host to be able to reproduce. They use basically your cells to reproduce for them. So, is a virus living? Is it not? We'll talk about that later on, especially those of you in class will have a really good discussion about whether or not a virus is a living thing. Okay. Also, energy. Okay. It needs energy. It's got to be able to get rid of waste. This is a big one right here. Maintains homeostasis, evolve over time. These two are very, very important. Homeostasis is the ability to keep a stable internal environment. So, can the thing I'm looking at, can it control itself? For example, humans, we can change our temperature up or down by sweating or shivering. We can adjust the water in our body. There's a lot of different things that we do for homeostasis. Oxygen levels, blood sugar, oxygen in our blood, all of those things are homeostasis, and our body has to maintain those all of the time. Adapt and evolve over time. So this is normally when we're looking at evolution, this is in a population, a group of organisms, maybe not just an individual organism, but it shows that ability to change, right? So we go and we get better for our environment. So if something checks all of these boxes, yes, it has it, yes, it has it, then we're going to think that that's a living thing. If it doesn't have, two or three of these, then we say to ourselves, that's probably not a living thing. There are a few living organisms might have some exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, these are the things that you see here that are going to consider something living. All right. So there's a slide after this that talks about examples of homeostasis. I've given you a couple of those. But remember, homeostasis is how do I control my internal environment? If I can't maintain homeostasis, I'm probably not going to live. Okay, this happens in human. If my body temperature gets too high, I could die. If it gets too low, I could die. Okay, if I can't get oxygen into my body, okay, so homeostasis is very important for living things. Reproduction can fall into one or two categories. You have sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is when two different organisms both contribute DNA for a new organism or the reproductive organism. Asexual reproduction is where one parent makes offspring. So this would be like budding that happens in sponges, or a lot of times in bacteria, something called binary fission, where the bacteria literally just splits in half. Either way, they're still reproducing. So it's still a living thing, and we just have two different major types of reproduction. This just kind of goes through and gives you examples of what that reproduction might look like. Okay, so go ahead, look through these questions at the end of this slide. Make sure we understand where did life come from. We're going to be getting to some of these questions in the next couple of units. So this is just something to look at and get ready for what's coming this week. Also, like I said, that it's a live lab. It's going to really use a lot of the information that we just looked at. Okay. Office hours, as always, are from 2:30 to 3 o'clock. You can hit me on that Zoom link on our LMS page. If not, you can go ahead and just shoot me an email. Until next time, bye.